Hello again, it's David Breslow back here with you. I am the founder of Performance Success Strategies and the creator of Wired to Win. So please stay tuned. I'll be back in a moment with today's performance toughness, mental toughness tip. Today, I'd like to talk to you about something I call delay tactics. Now, this is going to be very important, so I'm asking you to hang in here with me for a moment. And for a lot of people who are listening to this who are always interested in, hey, give me a specific tip and here's the issue and give me a how to step 1, step 2, step 3. This is a little different. Sometimes I'm offering things that really address issues and I'm asking you to consider them and to confront them and really take an honest look at them. And today is one of those days. So today I'm talking about how many athletes, golfers, tennis players, hockey players, basketball players, doesn't matter who you are, use delay tactics to slow up the time and put a buffer zone between what they're learning and how they're getting better and why they're not playing better now instead of later. So a delay tactic, what's a delay tactic? Usually it comes as a result of some kind of limiting or fearful belief that you have been holding on to for Lord knows how long. It doesn't matter when it happened, it doesn't matter when you bought it, and it doesn't matter how long you've had it. But if it's limiting you, it's a delay, it turns into a delay tactic. So what do I mean by this? Well, I used to be a tennis instructor. I was a teaching pro in the field of tennis for 20 some odd years. And when I was working with a player, and I worked with all levels of players from beginner to intermediate to collegiate competitive player to semi-professional and professional player. And all the time, I'd be looking at these people and they're learning what they're learning. I'm teaching what I'm teaching, and they're getting better. And yet they would go out and underperform, or their progress would be slow, slower than I always felt it should be. So generally, I would stop somebody on the court and I just, they'd be playing a match or a point with me and making errors unnecessarily and doing all sorts of things. And I would just stop and say to them, why aren't you playing better? Why are you not playing better in match play or in tournament play or in social play? Why? And they would often look at me with a quizzical face. And if I was your golf instructor, I would ask you the same thing because I know many, many golf instructors who understand that their students aren't getting as better as fast as they could. Some people don't want them to get better because it means they might not show up for lessons. But I think most instructors, most good teachers of integrity truly want their students to improve. So the question is, why aren't you improving? And so when I'm asking a tennis player or a golfer this question, quite often they're coming back with responses like, "Oh, I just need one more thing to put me over the edge, put me over the hump. I need another tip, or I need another suggestion, I need another insight." And I would just look at them and say, "No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm not saying to stop learning. I'm not saying to stop gathering insights. I'm saying that you should be playing better right now. And there's no reason for it not happening." So if that's you, and I know it's a lot of people that I've met over the years, if you know deep down inside you could play better, and most people, when I ask them that question, do you believe deep down inside you could play better than you're playing right now? An overwhelming majority, 85 to 90+% say yes. So what's the problem? It's because they're doing what I call delay tactics. They're delaying their own success for no real foundational reason other than they're holding on to these silly beliefs that they've had for so long about how things should progress. There's a lot of students out there that have this mindset that say, well, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And I look at them and go, what are you talking about? Why do you need baby steps? Well, that's the way you learn. You learn a little bit here, you learn a little bit there. It's a normal learning curve. Well, okay, that's fine. But you have to understand, and if you truly understand the mind-body relationship, which is what I teach in Wired to Win, if you truly understand how that works, then you would begin to understand why you're literally creating your own delay tactics. Because if you believe that baby steps is the way it's supposed to be, or it takes a long time, or there's a long learning curve, those are 3 beliefs right there. I promise you that will be your experience. And so you will go out and learn and learn and learn and learn. Then you'll go out and you'll perform, maybe mediocre, or you'll go up and down a little bit, but you don't really have to. There's no reason you can't play better golf right now. There's no reason you can't play better tennis right now. There's no reason you can't be a better communicator or whatever else might be going on in your life right now, except for the crazy reliance on these assumptions and beliefs that we have learned to believe in and carry around year after year after year. So then it becomes normal, right? If that's what you believe and that's what you're used to experiencing in your world, it's normal to do that. And so to hear somebody say what I'm saying to you now may seem so far outside of that reality, but I promise you, it is the reality. Because if you didn't have those limiting beliefs, you would be playing better golf or better tennis or better whatever right now. You absolutely would. So there's no reason that you can't play better. No reason at all. So I'm asking you to consider this. I'm asking you to be honest. And in the Wired to Win program, as many people know, I am teaching 7 laws of peak performance or human performance. And one of the laws that I teach before we even get into the program is the law of self-honesty. It's not one of the 7, but it's a foundational law. And it goes like this: the more honest you are with yourself, the quicker you get what you want. So what does that really mean? That means what you're willing to see, you can change. What you're not willing to see, you don't have a chance to change. Ask any golf pro, ask any tennis pro, ask any teaching pro in anything, life coach, anybody, if that's not true. It is absolutely true. If you're not willing to see something, how can you possibly change it? And this is where our egos come into play. Our egos won't let us see what we need to see. We think we should do it ourselves. We think we should be successful already. But our ego keeps getting in the way and hiding from us what we really need to see. So if you're going to a teaching pro, if you're going to a golf pro, for example, and the golf pro is telling you something and you're not willing to see that they're correct, or you're not willing to admit something that they're revealing to you, how can you possibly improve on that thing if you can't see it? You can't. That's why it's a law. And how I define a law is something that's true for everybody, everywhere, at all times. That's what makes it a law in my teachings. It's true for everybody. It's not just true for you. It's not just true for the other person. It's true for everybody. What you're willing to see, you can change. What you're unwilling to see, you are going to struggle with over and over and over again. Look at your own experience and see if that's true. I already know that it's true. So I'd really like you to be aware of your delay tactics. So I'm going to ask you, if you're willing to do it, to sit down with a piece of paper and make a list of the assumptions that you carry around about improving. So let's take golf, for example. You may sit down with a piece of paper and write, oh, it takes a long time to improve. Or I need to work with a whole bunch of different pros to get different insights and different information. Or I never really improved that quickly, but I need to work at it. That's how I learn. Things like that. Write down these little assumptions that you've been, well, they're really not little. Write down these assumptions that you've been making for a long time. And I'm using the word assumptions and belief really interchangeably. They're the same thing. Write down 3 to 5 assumptions, 3 to 5 beliefs that you have been carrying around, and take a look at them and ask yourself, is this really true? Is this limiting me or freeing me up? And be honest. And if it's limiting you, mark a big L next to it for limiting. limiting, 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 limiting. And then you now have an opportunity to adopt a new perspective, adopt a new assumption. Well, if I used to assume that I'm a slow learner or that things take a long time, why can't I assume that I'm getting this really quickly? Why can't I assume that I'm going out to the driving range and taking that new technique that I've been working on with my pro? Why can't I go out there and nail it? Why can't I make that assumption? Because if you do that, you're going to have a completely different experience. Why can't I assume I can play golf 3 strokes better than I did 2 weeks ago? Why can't I assume that? Now, I know that there's people listening to me and they're kind of shaking their head going, come on, man, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If I just change an assumption like that, then I'm actually going to go out and do that? And my answer is not right away, because you probably won't believe it, right? So everything boils back down to that, don't you see? Everything boils back down to your belief / assumption. If you don't believe it, you're going to fall right back into your old trap. But if you go out there and you work with that and rehearse that, you will start to believe it more quickly than you can imagine. So back to the tennis example, when I'm on the court, when I used to be on the court with people, I'd say to them, why aren't you playing better? And they'd give me this list. Well, I need another, tip. I need another this, I need another that. And I'm like, baloney. Baloney. You can play better right now. You can play better in the next 10 minutes when we continue playing points against me. There's no reason you can't hit quality forehands and backhands and passing shots and set up the point in your favor. You know how to do that. Yeah, I know how to do that. Well, what are you waiting for? And that's when they start to stammer and go, I enjoy putting people in the corner like that, because once they run out of excuses, they kind of stammer and go, I don't know. That's right. You don't know. You've run out of excuses. There's no reason. So, and then I would kind of briefly explain to them, if you understood the mind-body relationship and how powerful it really is to produce the results that you're getting, this will be very simple for you, because it's producing the results right now, the undesirable results. It's working right now to produce that. And so it's just a really interesting conversation. If you're willing to sit down and have this conversation with yourself and be honest with yourself, follow that law. The more honest you are, the quicker you get what you want. And just take a look at all the ways you delay your own success. And again, for some of you who are going to maybe misinterpret this, I'm not suggesting to stop learning. I'm not suggesting to stop getting tips. I'm suggesting for you to stop for a moment and step back and ask yourself, why am I not getting what I want? I'm not saying you're going to go win the Masters next year, but why am I not getting what I want? You're a 12 handicap, 15 handicap, 23 handicap, 9 handicap, 3 handicap, whatever you are. Why am I not getting what I want? Do I think I need another piece of information? Is it because I need another pro? I mean, I've tried 6 pros already, and this one's that, and you got reasons all over the place. I'm not saying none of them are valid, but take a look at your path. What are you doing? Why aren't you playing better right now? Uncover 3 to 5 of those assumptions and beliefs and take a look at them, and you can start laughing at them literally, because you see how ridiculous they are. There's no reason you can't step out there and start playing better today. And I mean it. I mean today. So consider this, please. This is pretty important, in my opinion. I've done this with clients over the years. We've had this conversation live. Of course, I'm throwing this at you on a recording, but we have this conversation live, and all of a sudden, the floodgates open up. They start soaring where they used to be struggling but then they start to see how they've been struggling for no particular reason. So I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you take it a little bit seriously. Dave Breslow, thanks for hanging out with me. This was a little bit long. I hope that's okay. Always interested in your comments here in cyberspace. and would love to have you come visit me, say hello, have a cup of coffee at www.mentalgolfcoaching.com. So I look forward to talking to you real soon. Take care.